All right, guys, we're a few days away from Michigan heading on the road, trying to get a big-time road win, wink, wink, big time, against Illinois on Saturday, high noon. We're going to give you guys the offer again after nobody got it last week, $25 to the person below in the comments who is the first person to correctly predict the score. And remember, you have got to predict the winner also. And, of course, you got to be subscribed to the channel. So go ahead and predict the score below. Michigan, Illinois, give me a score and give me a winner. And the first person who does it, you're getting $25 from our pockets to you. We got a Michigan football offensive rumors roundup coming up right now. Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. We have a great show for you today. We're stomping out some fake news on the Michigan football offense. Going to tell you about the ugly streak of receptions, the receiver streak that just won't go away for the Michigan football offense, and then trying to making you look better by not reading a certain publication that's had a really, really bad day in the news. Let's take a look at the quote graphics from Jim Harbaugh. I'm asking you guys in a few moments, I want you to vote in a little poll to see how many of you know which quote is real, which is the fake. So let's spot the lie. Got 3 quotes from Harbaugh, 3 quotes, 2 of them are Harbaugh quotes, 1 of them is made up. Quote A, I feel like we're very close offensively and very close to hitting our stride, hitting on all cylinders, really good evidence to back that up, and also what I see. That is quote A. Here is quote B. From Jim Harbaugh, from fake news, who knows? But this is quote B. Going to ask you guys to spot the lie. Fans have a constitutional right to expect success and have high expectations. I don't think that's actually in the Constitution, but it's maybe in the Jim Harbaugh quote Constitution. And quote C, Jim Harbaugh, not Jim Harbaugh, one of these 3 is not legit. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. Did he say that in his podcast recently? I don't know. That's quote C. Let's take a look at him one more time. You guys tell me which of these 3 quotes is not a Harbaugh quote. 2 of them are. Quote A. Quote B about the constitutional right. I mean, is he going political on us? Or quote C, I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious, right? You know, you're not superstitious, just a little stitious. I can see Harbaugh saying that. So those are the 3 quotes. I don't know the answer yet. This is put to me by the Chat Sports stats and research team. Put that in front of me. I'm going to guess. I think it's got to be C. I can't Harbaugh saying he's a little stitious. I think he is actually superstitious, so he wouldn't say that for sure. So you guys answer which quote is not a real Harbaugh quote. I will say this. One of those 3 quotes was made Saturday after Michigan's win against Iowa. One of them was made Harbaugh's first season, I believe, as Michigan's coach, and one of them, of course, is fake. So that is the question to start the show here. Let's take a look at where that quote one of those quotes came from. We're going to start giving away a little bit of the answer here. So if you haven't answered yet, here comes the answer. No Googling. Is there evidence that the offense is hitting their stride, like Jim Harbaugh said in the post-game press conference on Saturday, and then has reiterated on Monday in his press conference, on Tuesday in his podcast that he's still doing for some reason? Is there evidence the offense is hitting their stride? I'm giving this one a fake news, and it's starting from the top, all right? I don't know who Jim Harbaugh is fooling here, but he is telling you fans fake news. And for those of you who just believe whatever the coaches say, you know the quote I have about coaches, 60% of the time they're opening their mouth, they are not telling the truth. But here's the quote from Harbaugh talking to Angelique Shingelis. You probably heard the name before, longtime Detroit Free Press writer. This was our exchange, talking about her and Harbaugh in the press conference right after the game. JH, of course, Jim Harbaugh, or a former Facebook page that I used to like on Facebook. I really do think they're hitting their stride. Got great faith in our players and our coaches. This was in direct response to her asking him what he thinks about the offense. Then she asked him, in what way are you hitting your stride talking about the offense? And Jim Harbaugh said, in every way. That's what I see. So hold on a second. Here comes Jim Harbaugh. Come back to me on the screen. This is Jim Harbaugh. He can't see anything. He must be blind. He must have no eyesight because, look, I want Michigan to win more than anybody. It pains me when they go 54 minutes without scoring in a game against Iowa that's frankly not that talented, where they have 3 4-star players or above on their entire roster. But this is the offense. Here's the evidence, right? Jim Harbaugh says we have evidence. Here's the evidence that we're not. 367 yards per game, number 93 in the country. Number 93 in the country. 238 yards passing, number 73 in the country. Okay, I mean, 238 seems okay in Michigan standards, but 73 nationally, that is embarrassing for a pass-heavy option. But here's where it gets more embarrassing. Pass-heavy offense, 128 yards per game rushing, 102nd in the nation, folks. It is an absolute abysmal showing, and they're not even putting the ball in the end zone. 28 points per game. A lot of that bolstered by a 52-0 win over Rutgers. You take that Rutgers game out, whew, Jim Harbaugh might even be worse than blind if you try to look at those stats. So Harbaugh's out there selling you that the offense is hitting their stride. I like the old Bill Parcells quote, which was something along the lines of, we should pull this one up, stats and research department. It's like, we'll win when we deserve to win, right? Like, when do you think you're going to turn this team around? When do you think you win? We'll win when we deserve to win. Okay, there will be evidence that the offense is hitting their stride when there's evidence. And the evidence is proving that this is the worst Michigan football offense since 2008, and probably the second worst in the history of the program, or at least the modern history, going in the 1960s on. So Harbaugh's out there selling you fake news. I guess that's his job as a football coach, but, you know, lying to the media, plenty of football coaches have gotten in some trouble for that, so you better watch yourself there, Coach Harbaugh. We'll see. But Michigan takes on Illinois on Saturday, and of course, they're a fairly big favorite. Former Wolverine and a player who had the hearts and minds of many. I think Webster's out there still saying he's going to be a two-time All-Big Ten player, quarterback. Somewhere he's out there saying it because he was in love with Brandon Peters. Peters may not play. He got hurt and had to leave the game last week. Michigan opened at 19, and let me just tell you this. The money came in heavy on Michigan. It remains heavy on Michigan. 76% of the money is coming on Michigan. What that tells me right now is not only is the public betting, though, just the average Joe, you know, betting 20, 50 bucks, whatever, they're putting their money on it, but also the pro bettors hit that 19 number heavy with some money. So it went from 19 up to 23 just in a matter of 4 days since the lines first came out on Sunday. And you guys have seen, if you follow me on Twitter, if you watch this show, 71%, is that where we are? 71% college football betting, and I'm doing it. I'm taking money from BetDSI, and it's almost like I'm 140% betting because I got 100, whatever the math would be, 120% deposit bonus. So I could have lost my first couple dozen bets and probably still been in the black above the loss line, betting with BetDSI, 120% deposit bonus. If you guys want to put some money on Michigan, they're going to win by 24 this week. I know it. You know it. Put 50 bucks, put 20 bucks out, do it with BetDSI, and get a big-time promotion bonus when you sign up and deposit. Chatsports.com/bet. Rumor number 2, given that I am the only person out there who will be honest with you, who will tell you the truth about Michigan football, at least the truth as they see it. I don't answer to anybody from Michigan. I don't have to walk into their offices with my tail between my legs if I criticize the team like your other news outlets, according to Michigan. So I'm going to keep pointing this stat out because it is flat out embarrassing. Just like the stat Michigan won a year without a wide receiver catching a football, it is a fact, F-A-C-K fact, that Michigan has now gone 32 games since November of 2016, 32 games without a wide receiver crossing the 100-yard mark. Now, some of you say, what about Zach Gentry? Zach Gentry, by the way, the only offensive recruit Jim Harbaugh has brought into this program that was drafted so far, the only one so far, and by the way, he came in as a quarterback, drafted as a tight end, had a 100-yard game in 2018. That doesn't count. Wide receivers. Jehu Chesson, the last one to do it, November of 2016. The passing futility of Jim Harbaugh since the 2016 season is frankly mind-boggling because the 2017 season, they went the entire year without throwing any touchdown passes pretty much. There's an interesting stat. Michigan had 9 touchdown passes in the entire 2017 season. Washington State 2 weeks ago, 9 touchdowns in a single game. But let's take a look at these numbers. With Brady Hook's recruits, 5 100-yard games from wide receivers. And I'm pretty sure Jake Butt added one in both seasons, so 6 in both, 6 and 4 in 2015, his first year. Jake Rudock, a cast-off Iowa quarterback. Good job, but why since then have you not been able to put the ball in the hands of wide receivers? 2016, 3, 0. 0 last year, 0 this year, and I just want to kind of show you where we're at. This is not a single game. There are Alabama players who have matched those numbers in single games this year, around there. This is the entire season, 5 years. Nico Collins, who I've yet to see drop a ball in his college career. Last year, 0 drops. This year, I don't remember seeing him drop one. 13 catches. That is less, folks, than Iowa's running back. Repeat that. Nico Collins, less receptions than Iowa's running back, the same Iowa who put up 3 points against Michigan this past weekend. 269 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ronnie Bell, leading the team in receptions. He gets, 8 catches one game, 6, 7 the other. Very inconsistent, had 2 big games, 17. Tariq Black, 13. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones, 9 catches in the 2 games he's played. Was it 5 and 4, 6 and 3, whatever it is. 93 yards. What that tells me is that they're getting him 4 or 5 yard little runs. They were going to try and throw the ball with DPJ last week. If you saw that, that was what the play was. The tight end fell down. But nevertheless, 2 touchdowns for Nico, 1 for Tariq, 1 for Donovan Peoples-Jones. We're going to be looking at these stats here, folks, after the Illinois game. And we're projecting out Michigan's offensive stats to be remarkably down from last year, specifically from a reception standpoint. The wide receivers had, drastically down from a running back perspective. But I'm putting some money on college football games. I'm putting some money on the NFL this weekend. My account balance just keeps going up. That's because I look at the Action Network app. You can get it for $5.99 a month, 40% off if you go to chatsports.com/deal. It gives you all the trends. You can find out how Jim Harbaugh's teams do on the road against ranked opponents, not ranked, favorites, underdogs, everything there. Also see where the public's betting and where the big-time pro bettors are. And a little tip, you see the differences. Public's going here, pro bettors going here. You bet this side, the biggest gap, and you will be at 70% betting college football. Use chatsports.com/deal to get the $5.99 a month Action Network app. It rules. All right, so all the time, because I am the face of Michigan football media, the bad boy, the guy who tells you like it is, the other media, networks, reporters, they'll take shots at me whenever they can. Always proven wrong. Yoder's lying about Charbonnet. Yoder's making stuff up about Oliver Martin. Okay, we know that's there. But no one has had a worse set of 6 hours than the part-time bloggers at Maize and Brew, who I'm told at least 2 of the 5 guys are Applebee's waitresses, okay? Waiters. Wait staff. That was an honest mistake. I said waitresses, wait staff. I'm not sure how they identified, nevertheless. This entire blog, after what we're about to show you, they are canceled. Fake news. Get them out of here, all right? Fake news, Maize and Brew. And so we're going to walk you through their Wednesday because it has been a forgettable Wednesday. And this is what happens when you let 15-year-olds press publish. Let's take a look at tweet number 1 from this morning. Shea Patterson told the media on Tuesday night that the hashtag Michigan, good thing, if anyone's looking to go to see what's going on in Michigan, the weather, the travel reports, you can go to Maize and Brew's Twitter account, click that hashtag, and find all the trending topics on Michigan. The Michigan offense, guys, no one uses hashtags anymore, is not trying to be explosive. So he says, Shea Patterson says, Michigan offense is not trying to be explosive. So they went and wrote an entire article that Shea Patterson was trying to convince the media yesterday, no, we're not trying to be explosive. We're doing exactly what we're trying to do, which is anti-explosive. Okay. They went and wrote a whole article about it. Then they come back and they said, after I called them out on Twitter, and they say, an error was made in the headline and in the body because it was all about what Shea Patterson said. So he changed the entire thing, misled people there. They fixed and edited it accordingly. But wait, there's more. You see the tweet. Like, do they not have any form of checks and balances? Does no one say, hey, I'm going to put a tweet. Let's just make sure that error is fixed. But the headline on the article they linked in their own tweet still says, Shea Patterson says our offense, we're not trying to be explosive. Okay, cool. So I go into the article, and in their defense, eventually they got the headline changed. But then their English language skills just set us up for failure in this country. Let me read this. Despite having one of the most least offenses in the country, guys, hashtag credentialed, hashtag journalism, because you use the Michigan hashtag, I'm using hashtags on you. It's a hashtag off, okay? I'm using my hashtags against you. But here's the actual quote from Shea Patterson. and not what the 14-year-old who is interning at MGO blog decided to put in an article. We're not trying to be explosive. I do believe that there's a lot left out there. The sky is really the limit for this offense. It's just a matter of time. I believe you, Shay. That's fine. But that is the quote that they had, and what a bad just set of time for Maize and Brew. So after that, the great Twitter followers of me decided to say, Yoder, did you see this one? They're at it again. And so came across this article thanks to the wonderful Yoder team. So they say, Michigan's rush defense hasn't been the greatest this season. This is on their Michigan-Illinois game preview. Michigan-Illinois game preview. Michigan's rush defense hasn't been great this season. Number 89 in the country, giving up 168 rushing yards per game, blah, blah, blah. And so when I see this, I think to myself, wait a second. Michigan just had 1 yard rushing against them against Iowa. That's not possible. Let's take a look at the stats. And sure enough, you see Michigan went after the Rutgers game when they were 89th, after Army and Wisconsin, two of the most run-heavy teams in the country, kind of had a decent, gauge at it. They went and Maize and Brew decided to quote week-old stats. So wherever the checks and balances there are, guys, and Maize and Brew, I'm going to make a few calls to my sources at SB Nation. You guys might have a 5 a.m. meeting tomorrow, if you know what I'm saying, but this couldn't get any worse. And by the way, I don't want to seem like I'm coming at them. I see you guys say right now, Yoder, why are you talking about them? Just stick to giving reporting. I'm not bringing this from me. This doesn't make me feel good because I could have been an uninformed Michigan football fan. I am doing this for you. I know the guys from Maize and Brew, they're going to see the show because they watch every time, and they're going to say, dang it, we need to take one left shift this week at the Bees, and we need to make sure we've got better editing going on for our articles. We can't let little Timmy, between third and fourth period English, publish these articles for us anymore. And I think they would say that, and I think you guys need to thank me, #thanks and below, because we're all about the hashtags. Thank me below, because you're not going in your group chat with your buddies saying, oh man, this Michigan defense, number 89 in the country, and then getting called out. So thank me from you to me. You're welcome. But that is the show for today. While you are here, make sure to go follow us on Instagram at Michigan Football Report. I've got questions out there. If you want to get on our live Michigan Football question and answer show tomorrow, you can go do that at Michigan Football Report on Instagram. If you haven't yet, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel at Michigan Football Report YouTube channel at youtube.com/Michigan TV. I'm all fumbling my words here. And while you're waiting for the game, got some highlights for you here and my Michigan football grades. Go Blue.